Here are all the abilities. For the new agent, the first ability is Prowler, costing 300 credits. When you fire it goes in a straight line looking for a trail or an enemy, which means if an enemy is close by not necessarily visible, it will detect a trail and go and catch the person. You can also hold fire and move the mouse to steer it in the direction that you're facing when it detects an enemy. It goes towards the enemy and blinds the enemy, near sights the enemy for 3 seconds. Next ability is called Seize, which costs 200 credits. You equip an orb, and when you throw the orb it will stay in the air for 5 seconds and then it drops to the ground. Once it hits the ground it will expand to up to 7 meters, and then it will tether all the enemies inside. That range tethering is basically pulling them, which is basically like Astra's sucking ability. It's basically the same, but tethered enemies will suffer 75 decay damage. They will also be different, so they cannot hear anything and they cannot escape the zone without abilities for 5 seconds. So Jet can still escape it maybe, but yeah, it's still broken. The next ability is called Haunt, whose credits seem to be undetermined. Maybe Hey, haven't determined it yet. This is also accepting an or fire to throw the orb. The orb will travel in the air again in a similar fashion to the other ability, and then it will drop onto the ground. Once it hits the ground it again races back up and it can be destroyed. What it basically do is if it sees opponents it will reveal them and it will apply a trail debuff. This seems to be something new. I'm not sure if I have seen this before. It will last for 12 whole seconds. What it can be reactivated in flight to drop the projectile earlier. Basically you're throwing the orbit is staying in air for 5 seconds and then it drops, gets back up. If it sees enemies it will apply a trail debuff for 12 seconds. Very weird. And the ultimate is called Nightfall. Equip this ability Fire to send out a wave of dark mist. If the mist comes in contact with an enemy they will be trailed. Defend and Deck ID for 12 seconds. I believe the decay damage should be 75 because the decay damage for Haunt is 75, and on screen is a bit more information. I believe this purple cutter thing that you see on the boards is the decay deeper. I say this because if you take a look at this spot specifically, there is no global trail on this board and there is also no purple color thing on the board, so this part is not decayed and other parts are decayed. So this one of the abilities have been applied to this spot. It has to be between Seize and Nightfall because only both of them have the decay ability. Given the fact that there are so many of these things, I would guess it's the Night for ability. The person must have used the Night for ability and tagged all these birds, and some of these sports don't have it because they were probably killed, and these are new pods. The hand as as you can see, people are directly assuming it's a female. I wouldn't do the same. People have their own choices. We should wait and see. This was supposed to be a recon initiator, and it does seem like you can click on initiator. We get information quite a lot, and yeah, we'll have to see how